Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. You all know what time it is. And it is time for this week's edition of Coaching from the Couch. I'm going to let you all get on up in here because I'm already ready to go. We have to run down the entire week in DC sports. I already see folks jumping in. What's up, Wayne? My favorite Alabama Crimson Tide former player and friend. And of course, my mom's already tuned in. I'm seeing Lee Evans already tuned in. You all want to make sure you are sharing the show with your DC sports loving family and friends because, of course, you can always catch the show later. But we absolutely, positively have a great time watching, dialoguing and checking out the show live. So make sure you all are coming on up in the virtual room. Gotta say what's up to Corey and others. I'm trying to keep track of everybody because I gotta see your comments and see that you're watching. Of course, Cameron Mingo was on. And want to make sure I catch everybody before I start talking. Because as you all know, when is there a dull moment in DC sports? And that's a never. Never, ever, ever is there a dull moment. But before we all get started and get going, this week we are going to talk a little Caps, a lot of Wizards, and a lot of Washington football. So that means you guys are going to stick it out with me for 30 whole minutes to talk through all of those teams this week. And you know it's going to be a good time. Isn't that right, Chief of DC? Isn't that right? It's going to be a good old time. Yes, indeed. So, y'all, let's go ahead and get started and make sure you are absolutely sharing the show. Because I was trying to keep up. You all know media and all of that. But at the root of all of this, I am a diehard DC sports fan. So I couldn't help myself but to try to keep up and keep track of the Caps game. Our favorite hockey team is opening the season right now. They are playing right now. They're up 2-1 on Buffalo. So they're still in the first period. They already getting it going for sure. Already getting it going for certain. So y'all, let's get going and continuing to talk about the Caps. You all know I don't want to say much about the Caps because the season has just started, but they already have some changes that I just wanted to highlight as they open the season. We all know that there's a new goalie, right? There's a new Caps goalie. Not really new, but new to us, right? Ilya Samsonov. So all eyes are on Ilya this year. We all know this. A fan favorite, Braden Holtby, is no longer on the team. So we're going to see. There's a lot of talk, excitement, hype around Ilya. So I'm anxious to see what he can bring to the Caps. I really am. I think I've gotten over Braden Holtby. No longer being a Washington Capital. Like I said, he was a fan favorite, but definitely have to move on. As Cameron has already mentioned, Peter Laviolette, new coach. And we also have, Zdeno Chara. I think that's huge to mention that we got Zdeno Chara here. Because that was a long time Boston Bruins captain that has now found his new home in Washington. So I think those three things are things to watch. how Zdeno Chara integrates with the team, how Ilya does at goalie, and overall how the team performs under a new coach. It's taken me a while to get over the fact that old Barry was not the coach anymore. But hey, it's always time to move on. And we're going to see what they can do. I'm excited. I love hockey. What don't I love when it comes to sports, right? I love it all. But hey, look, all we can do is hope for the best. They kicked off tonight. I feel good. I think it would be, I have to say that last Caps hockey season, I'm not speaking for myself. I was very disappointed, extremely disappointed. I think we all were, but I think there's an opportunity this year to change some things around, and I'm very, very excited to see what could happen. So, let's go Caps. Moving on to the Wizards. Where are my Wizards fans? I got to check in with the Wizards fans. Johnny Leon, are you a Wizards fan? David, are you a Wizards fan? I know, Cameron, you are. Wayne, are you a Wizards fan? Let's check in with the Wizards. Listen, this week has been absolutely crazy with the Wizards. Let me just say this, y'all, and we got to go into the whole week rundown. So last week came on here, and I was frustrated because Bradley Beal was coming off of a 60-point game in which the Wizards caught an L. Wizards played Boston Celtics last Friday. Another L. We already kind of knew going into that game that Russell Westbrook, we knew he had dislocated his finger. That was one situation. We knew then that there was some talk about, we all see him on the sidelines. He's got ice on his knees. So we already know there's something going on. And if you were watching the game, now let me be clear. I love some Russell Westbrook. But if you're watching them play, it's just the explosiveness wasn't there. The energy wasn't there. Something was just off, right? Then on Saturday, going into their game against the Miami Heat, it shared that he's having some quad issues. Okay. We're gonna let that be that. Because while we already knew that Russell Westbrook wasn't doing back-to-back, so we're looking at Boston, then Miami, okay, he's probably not going to play anyway. There was talk that back-to-back stuff was going out the door because the Wizards are losing. So it was talk that Russell Westbrook is like, hey, we're going to have to meet in the middle somewhere because we want to play. I want to play. I want to be out there with my squad. Quad issues, not playing. Cool. So it was more of the same, nothing to worry about. Same game versus the Miami Heat. Thomas Bryant goes down early in the game. Now, Wizards fans, tell me your honest thoughts on how you felt when you saw Thomas Bryant go down. Because I can tell you what I thought. I said to myself, that looks like he's done for the season. And unfortunately for Thomas Bryant, he is indeed going to miss the rest of the season with that ACL tear. Was devastated for Thomas Bryant because while I can be a very hard critic of every single member of that team, Thomas Bryant looked like he was about to jet set into a breakout year. So it was hard to see him go down. And I was exactly what Cameron is saying. It was painful to see because I said, oh, here we go. Now I have to admit, because we're going to get to the Washington football team in a moment, but I was kind of going back and forth, because that was a playoff game. Okay. So, but as soon as I saw that happen, I said, I can't watch it. I can't watch this. This is too much. So Thomas Bryant goes down, already having the back of my mind, based on what it looked like, what it was. And then, of course, immediately after the game, it comes out, he's going to get an MRI. Whenever they say they're going to get an MRI and it's like right after the game, that's always not so good sign. And I have to take y'all through this because we all went through this together. So, get the news, Thomas Bryant is out. Here's another thing that I missed that is a very important point about last Saturday night's game. It's an important point to me anyway. Brad did not play last Saturday because of contact tracing from the previous game in Boston. So we got a lot of issues. We got a lot of things going on here. It's a lot going on, Matt. Okay? It's a lot going on, Lydell. It's a lot going on, Russ. Brad couldn't play because of contact tracing. Russell Westbrook is injured. Thomas Bryant out for the season. And at this time, we don't even know the extent of Russell Westbrook's injury. So then what continues to happen? All right. Thomas Bryant is out for the season. All right. Then Brad is back Monday against the Phoenix Suns, which the Wizards won that game. I haven't even gotten to the fact that they actually beat the Phoenix Suns on Monday night. I have to be honest. The Phoenix Suns didn't have a good game. Didn't look all that good at all. But we know that they're good. They're a good team. So, of course, when the Wizards beat a good team, third win of the season, you can still be happy. You can still be excited. So I said, okay, that's good. I said to myself, folks must have known they got to level up. Folks are going to be out. Not thinking about COVID protocols anymore, right? Then it comes out, oh, well, Russell Westbrook will probably be out for the remainder of the week. He'll be reevaluated at the end of the week. That's when I said to myself, oh, we know what this means. What we all thought we saw when everybody, I know what you were thinking. Is Russell Westbrook hurt? Like, is he hurt? Because he's out there looking a little injured. If you weren't thinking it, that's what I was thinking. So that's what I thought on Monday. I said, oh, okay, this is a little bit more to this story. Then, of course, it comes out, and Scott Brooks mentioned this in his presser, that Russell Westbrook was going to be pissed that he said something about this. And that is that Westbrook banged up his quad during training camp. That's why I wasn't going to say nothing, because I was like, well, I ain't going to say nothing. Because Russell Westbrook can be mad at you, Scott Brooks, but he will not be mad at me. I'm trying to make a good impression. So Scott Brooks told that. He spilled those beans. Then that becomes, now we all know what we're looking at. I haven't even gotten back to the COVID stuff yet. Haven't gotten to the COVID stuff because this is a lot. And I think it's all important. Now it comes out, Russell Westbrook, major setback with the quad, could be out 3 to 4 weeks. And then it becomes, I know what everybody is thinking. I know what all of you are thinking. And if everybody isn't thinking it, I know some are, and it is, did the Wizards just pick up an injured Russell Westbrook? Looks like it, doesn't it? Hey, look. I absolutely want to see a healthy Russell Westbrook. But it was abundantly clear as the games continued to go on that was not a 100% healthy Russell Westbrook. So now it is starting to come to light. Injured it in training camp, going to be out this week. Now we nervous. He might really be out like a month. This is what we were seeing. I don't think he came in the door that way necessarily, but there was definitely some lingering, we know that, lingering issues there, lingering injuries there. And it got worse. And I don't know about you all's eyes, but it was definitely obvious to me. Chief of DC says it's not even 75%. It wasn't looking very good. Now, I did enjoy these. Through 7 games with the Wizards, Westbrook averaged 19.3 points, 11.3 assists, and 9 rebounds. That's excellent. That's great. But sometimes seeing him out there, he was looking more like a liability than an asset. So if something is going on, which it sounds like there absolutely is, and the team has to continue to go forward the next a few weeks, up to a month without Westbrook, I think all we can do is hope that when he returns, now we're dealing with a healthier, not completely healthy per se, but a healthier Russell Westbrook. Hopefully it's a bit better, because them last couple of games, I was like, don't look, whatever you do, Westbrook, don't look like me out there. Please don't look like me. So the whole thing of it is, because like I said, I like Russell Westbrook. And I kept saying, where's Brody? Where is Brody? Brody is hurt. Brody is in there on the inside, and he cannot come out because he's injured. And it comes to find out that, in fact, yes, absolutely he is. Now, speedy recovery. Wish him nothing but the best, because I believe that he can absolutely be an asset to this team this season, and I would love to see that happen. Now, let's move on to the COVID protocols and situations. And I'm going to go back to Brad did not play last Saturday because of contact tracing, and they get tested all the time, so I don't know if it came up who was positive, but right now the Wizards are looking at 3 positive COVID cases. 3. A whole 1, 2, 3. Could potentially be more. Here's interesting. The Wizards PR has not released a statement, not a public statement, on the state of affairs right now. We know that last night's game was postponed. We know that tomorrow's game against the Detroit Pistons is postponed. They have Sunday and Monday against the Cleveland Cavaliers that are very well, much so in jeopardy of also being postponed, because 3 positive cases is nothing to mess with. If you're dealing with 3 positive cases, there's absolutely a chance that there could be more, inclusive of the staff. And the reality is the NBA is not going to let them play. That means they would be missing at least 4 games. That's troubling to me. And had the names been released, according to HIPAA law, it doesn't have to be released. Nobody has to know who has tested positive. What we do know earlier in the week is that Rui Hachimura and Mo Wagner had gone under COVID protocols. Now, I don't want to say that means that there are 2 of the 3 positives, because that doesn't necessarily mean that. Due to contact tracing, because they have been in touch with the positive cases, maybe that's why they were under COVID protocols. It has not been publicly announced yet. So we have to continue to pray for everybody. Exactly what Joy is saying in the chat. We have to continue to pray for everybody battling COVID-19. It is still very much out here. It's a real thing. It's a very serious thing. And I don't know how the NBA is going to deal with this situation. The NBA was a leader in dealing with this situation last summer, and that is because, which I believe, it was because they were in the bubble. They were in the bubble. That's why it worked. But when we were talking about games, up to 4 games a week, that you're traveling, you can't contain it. And yes, they absolutely do have new safety protocol rules, but when you are traveling and you are not in a contained space, the reality is, let's all be real, people are still going out. People are still living life. And that is okay if that's what you really feel like you have to do. But at the end of the day, when you have to still play a game or show up, if you were around someone that has it, You got to sit. You have to sit. And it's not, this is a DC Sports Talk show, so we're talking DC Sports. But this is something, as you all are, I'm sure, are aware, that is impacting several teams. So now how are we going to do this? Are we just going to take all the postponed games and just cancel them? It's over? Or do you put them at the end of the season? I don't know. But it is going to be very interesting to me to see how the NBA handles this, because this is a very important topic. This is a serious conversation, and quite a few players have discussed and have shared that they have had family members die from this virus. It is not something to play with. It should be taken very seriously. And in my opinion, they need to figure out a bubble type of situation to make it work, because the hard truth is this: it worked because they were in the bubble. That's why it worked. Of course, the daily testing, the rapid testing, all of those things matter and supports it working. But you got to have in that space. And I know it's got to be hard in that bubble. But I'm talking about if they want to continue this thing, I'm sure they have to seriously think about it. That's my rant on this COVID situation, because now it's getting scary. Now, to me, I'm like, yo, players are getting positive. They got to quarantine from their families. And this is not just the players. We're talking about staff too, right? So this is everybody. And everybody has to do their part, and everyone has to be vigilant. Now, to Dre's point of the NFL getting through it, the NFL does not have as many games. They don't have as many games. And you got way more players. You don't have the 8 required players, you can't play. The teams ain't gonna have that. So to see all of this happening, in my opinion, it's the frequency of games and the need for travel, and that is what is making this very difficult for them to get through it. When you have a COVID list in the NFL, they put folks on the list and then they bring folks up from the practice squad. They're able to do that because they have those, and they actually, this year, as you all know, the NFL had more people on their practice squads to be able to bring them up in case they had those issues. So I don't know, but it's getting a little testy. And of course we have to talk about it here because it's hitting home, because that's the Wizards. So something to keep watch on and something to pay close attention to, because it's very important. Very, very, very important. So that's the Wizards conversation for today. Where's the Washington football team fans? Where are the Washington football team fans? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Check on in, Washington football team fans. And tag in your fellow Washington football team family and friends. Tag them in too. Mazdak, I see you. I see you. Chief of DCU, I see you too. Everybody, y'all already up in here. Is there anybody that I missed? Damon, I think I missed you earlier. How are you, my friend? Dre, I see you. I see you. Listen, check in, Washington football team fans. I need a like or a love emoji, fire emoji, something. Something. Listen, we're going to play the one word game. We're going to play the one word game, Corey. Russ, where is your one word? I want one word. What is your one word to describe this past season? Your one word to describe this past season. This one. What is it? What is it? I want to see these. Now, Wayne is sad. Why you were sad? Sad about the season. Corey was excited. Andre, you said better. Okay, Wayne, I want to know why you were sad. Cameron, inspirational. Chief of DC said amazing. Chief, why did you think it was amazing? I want to know. Avis is watching. Avis, join on in. We need your one word for how you would describe the Washington football team's past season? I'm going to probably guess. Russ, was your word believe? Because I know you said that about 82 times one week. Demond, optimistic. Mom Waller said awesome. Okay, Joy will say Gucci. Yeah, Wayne. So Wayne is bringing up a very valid point, everyone. Wayne is bringing up a valid point, and that is the offense needed too much work. That's that. Woo. And we've talked about that before. The offense was so bad some games, right? And they still made it happen. Nardell said great. My one word was wow. Tony, I see hopeful, Matt, durable. My one word was wow. Because I have no issues admitting to anybody. I thought the team was going to be 3-13. I did. I said, you know what? We're looking at about 3-13. And I remember before the season, I'm kind of laughing now, but I remember at the beginning of the season, and we were going through together as a CWall Sports and Entertainment family, what the schedule was, and just we going down. And I was like, man, this fan base y'all something else. They got a lot of faith in this team, and I just don't. And I have no problem admitting that. People know I felt that way. So it was just, we're looking at 3-13. I told the originator has joined us, y'all. Sherrod, I told him, we're looking at 3-13 right now, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. Like, I could stomach that. And Mazdak said it beautifully right here. We got the heart and the grit for the first time in years. I said to myself, this team, it's like they willed themselves to win. They did. They fought. And even when the team got the 4 wins, I said, well, there goes my prediction. And that's all right. This is one of those times where I love being wrong. We won't be picking in the top 5 now. And that's okay. And that's good. Because respected teams don't pick in the top 5 all the time. I must say, last Saturday night watching the game, because hey, I was one of the people that I was just happy to be in the playoffs. I seriously was. I was like, shoot, we haven't seen this since 2015. This feels good. This is actually kind of cool. I actually like playing into January. This is exciting. We should do this more often. This is kind of nice. When I was getting ready for the game and everything, hey, let's go. This is fun. We got to do more of this. This was cool. And I said, the NFC East is not a good division. We all understand that. But listen, somebody had to win it, and the Washington football team did. And you all are saying it, the fight, the grit, the heart. No, some of the players are not that good, comparatively speaking. When you look at, to Wayne's point, when you go back and look at other teams' offenses, and you look at the players, individual players, they said, right, the wide receivers, who are these people? Tight end, Logan Thomas. Okay, all right. 4 quarterback changes. 4 quarterback changes. And I'm like, they still got 7 games out of that. That is something. First year for these coaching staff too, for much of the coaching staff. And I was proud. I was proud of it because it was almost like a bunch of no-names on the roster. Who are these people, right? You look at the roster, it's not going to scare anybody. It's not going to terrify anybody at the onset. When you look at it, it's like, they had to earn respect. The defense ended up earning respect throughout the season. But when you're first looking at it, you're like, these guys, who are these? Because they're unproven. That was a word we hear so much. And guess what? Still, many of the players on this team are still unproven. Yet, they won a division. It felt really good to win last Saturday. And I'm going to just tell y'all, yes, they lost. But let me tell y'all the truth about something. For a minute, they were starting to come back. And I don't know if y'all saw, but Tom Brady was over there on the sidelines getting angry. And I said, oh my gosh. They are making the GOAT mad. I said they making them mad. They're making them angry. That means they doing something right out there. He out there yelling about calls and everything. And I do think I need to say this when I'm talking about calls. The officiating was not on the Washington football team side last Saturday, because there was some calls. There was some very questionable and just bad calls. Of course, you don't have to worry about calls if you win the game. Get all that, but I must say that some of that officiating was pretty terrible. But for a split second there, it got fun. And to Joy's point, he got nervous. I said, oh, Tom about to get mad. And hey, listen, I love greatness. I love it. I get so excited about it. So I get excited about a Tom Brady. But let me tell you something. Seeing the Washington football team tick him off, I was like, oh, this is funny. Tom is getting upset. Everybody look at him. His veins popping out his neck. He's so angry. His face turning all red. Ooh, man. But, hey, the team did not pull it out in the end. But what a way to start to look toward the future. And on Sunday, there were the player exit interviews. I hope you all have had an opportunity to go out to YouTube, to the team's YouTube, and maybe it's on the team's Facebook page as well, to listen to some of those player exit interviews. Y'all know I can get emotional, and I'm going to tell you, I said, I think I told Sherrod, I said, this is the second Sunday in a row that this team has made me emotional in a positive way. And the Sunday previously was against the Eagles, and I got emotional understanding and learning about Alex Smith and Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson being very blunt and being very direct that they were absolutely going to play. And Alex making it very clear to his teammates what was going on with his calf injury, but saying, I will be on this field to help get this team into the playoffs. I said, you know what? These people, they're just out here battling. They're out here battling. The will to win, the will to fight. It's something to be said about resilience and grit. And I love people with resilience and grit. I get excited about that. And so then Sunday, listening to some of the player interviews, I want to highlight especially Brandon Sheriff's. Brandon Sheriff made it clear that he wants to be here. He absolutely loves Washington. And I thought it was so special when he shared that he and Morgan Moses, when they were leaving out of the locker room, because, the day after the game, okay, you lose, you clean your locker out and everything. He told him that Morgan told him this will not be the last time that we play on this field together. And I said, y'all go ahead and pay Brandon. I don't know what you're going to do when you're going to pay him, how much you're going to pay him. But go ahead and make that happen. Okay? Because it's not so often that you hear players say that they want to play in this town. And so that meant a lot. It was just something about that gave me, I was just like, you know what? That's all right, Brandon. Somebody pay that man. Where's the contracts, people? So I do hope he comes back. I do. That meant something. And I think he deserves it. After his all-pro year, of course, the price tag goes up. But that's okay. The price tag can go up. It is what that is. Also wanted to mention, and I know we're already over time, but we're having good conversation here. I wanted to mention Ryan Kerrigan. I think it's pretty obvious, at least to me, that Ryan Kerrigan is a free agent. As everyone probably knows by now, he was the last person out on the field at FedEx last Saturday night. And he talked about that. He talked about just reminiscing on his favorite moments playing at FedEx Field. And I said, okay, Ryan, job well done. Thank you for your service. Because he's basically, I felt, was basically saying his goodbyes. He knows and he wants to start. He was very clear. I think he's been clear. But he was very clear in his player interview that he wants to start and thinks that he can start and he should. And hey, who am I to say, otherwise? So best of luck to him in his endeavors. If he does not return here, it doesn't sound like he will. So there's that. I want to mention Alex Smith's exit interview. As everybody knows, Alex has made it clear he wants to talk to his family about his decision of what he's going to do next. It was very obvious to me that Alex, he wanted to play Saturday night. It was really bothering him that he could not play. And that's just who he is. That's just who he is. He just loves football, and he just loves that game. And I tell you, I gotta, y'all know, I've been talking to y'all about Alex for a long time. Matter of fact, commercial break. Listen, everybody that said I was tripping when I was trying to tell people Alex was walking faster than me the other day. Listen, this is not don't think about how fast or slow I may walk. Think about what that means for him. All of y'all owe me $1. It's a few of y'all on here right now. Everybody owes me $1 each. Listen, that's all I'm saying. You can cash at me the $1. Anywho, commercial break over. Yeah, so I think that Alex, it was just apparent. It was just very obvious to me. He felt some type of way about not being able to play. I will say this. I wish nothing but the best for Alex. What he has contributed and brought to this team, just from a character perspective, is amazing. He is part of the reason this team has the character of grit and resilience and all of those things. I don't know what he's going to decide. You have probably heard by now that Logan Thomas was very clear in saying that he just can't imagine Alex not playing. I can't imagine it either. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I cannot imagine it either, considering what I know about Alex Smith. And I think we have all now seen he has an insane level of determination. And he just does not take no for an answer. He believes he can do it, so he does. But I think that he will continue to have challenges. He will continue to have issues because of that previous injury. And if he does play, he would have to be a backup. I don't foresee him being a starter at all. And I know that is probably astounding to some people coming from me. But a consistent starter, I don't see it. I also, I thought it when he said I have to talk to my family, that's when I knew. I said, okay, Alex, you might retire, Project 11. I can hear it in your voice. I can see it in your body language that I think even he may not want to leave, but I think he is kind of feeling like maybe I should, though. We'll see what happens. I could be absolutely wrong. Alex could be out there under center week 1. Who knows? But at any rate, good things ahead. Promising things ahead. This team has already started their GM search. So I'm going to just run down really, really quick the GMs. We got Nick Polk, Falcons, Director of Football Operations, Nick Polk. Ryan Cowden, am I saying his name wrong? Ryan Cowden, GM or VP of Player Personnel, Ryan Cowden. Martin Mayhew, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. JoJo Wooden from the Chargers, the Director of Player Personnel for the Chargers, JoJo Wooden. He heads up pro and college scouting in LA. So that's 4. That's known, going through the interview process. To my understanding, previously, Kyle was going to interview. Now it sounds like he may not. I don't know. I'm assuming if he wants to have the position, then he should interview. So we'll see what happens. A lot of folks may know Martin Mayhew's name because he was a defensive back for Washington back in the day. Is it considered saying back in the day if it was in the 90s? Probably not. That wasn't that long ago. So we'll see what happens. It remains to be seen, but the GM search has started. One thing of other note before we close out, and speaking of the GM search, Ron Rivera shared that 2 of his goals this offseason is to name that GM and figure out the quarterback situation. So I believe those 2 things. I mean, a part of me feels like they could just keep the GM situation the way that it is. And I know that was also on the table at one point. You keep everything as is. Jason is the team president. Kyle Smith shares some of the GM responsibilities, with Ron making the bulk of the GM decisions. They're modeling that after the Seahawks and the 49ers. So I was like, well, they should just keep it that way. But it sounds like they actually want, or Ron actually wants, an established GM. There has not been anyone in this role since Scott McCloughan. So we'll see what happens. But hey, they looking for the GM. This will be something that we continue to discuss and talk about until they find who that GM will be. In the quarterback conversation, we did not get to that tonight because I wanted to kind of just enjoy the moment of what I call a wild season, and a season full of grit and resilience and heart. That it was quite the delight to cover in the end. Because let me tell y'all something. I told y'all this before. Covering your favorite football team ain't easy. Covering your favorite teams is not easy at all. And I started covering Washington football the fall of 2017 on site. And so 2017, 2018, 19, and this was season, 2020. So technically that was 4 years. And so in the 4 years, this was the first time that there wasn't a storyline full of drama at the end of the season. And I actually felt like players were genuinely happy to be in the burgundy and gold. And that meant a lot, a whole lot, because I got some good rest when the season ended. The Wizards stressing me out, but the Washington football team is not stressing me out right now, which is a very good thing. And therefore, I hope you all aren't stressed out either. So I thought that was important to share because, I love to be honest and transparent because I just don't know how else to be. And before I close out, I see everyone's congratulatory remarks. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in every single week. And even when you don't tune in live, guess what? You all still watch the show later. And all of those things absolutely matters and contributes to the award that I did receive yesterday. Very shockingly, I still can't believe it, because even when you all were saying congratulations, I was like, what I do? Oh yes, that did happen yesterday. So thank you all again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And here's to more never a dull moment in DC sports in the future. So I will talk to you all next week.